Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. My name is John. I'm the CEO of Acquire.Fi. We have both Nathan here and Andrew. What's up, guys?
Howdy, howdy.
Man, looking good. Bitcoin ripping all the way straight through from last week. Looking real nice right now.
I think we have
Yeah,
some buyers opportunities coming in, right?
perhaps. Yeah. I think we're seeing a bit of a pullback now, which makes sense. We had some extension levels just right above 4.669 coming in at 122. Looks like we came right into it and pretty much got rejected. Other than that, we are quite overbought, so things need to kind of reset a little bit. Get some breathing room here. No signs of bearish divs on the MACD, so that's always good to see. And there's no real structure just yet. This is just more of like a kind of like a V top right for now. But I mean, it doesn't. It's not out of the question for these prices to come back down to some levels. Maybe some 38.2 for stops, right against some moving average supports there. Or we might have to come back down into these reload zones off of the range that we established here. So it's kind of what I'm thinking right now. I don't really think there's a trade here necessarily. I think if you were trying to short, that probably would have been the level up there. Um, and then now we just have to see how far does this want to pull back, and then whether or not we get the consolidation. Looking for some kind of W like we did back down here, then that would help indicate that it's ready to move over. But yeah, that's about it, really. I think it makes sense for some profit taking. We've been up pretty just straight up for like the last few weeks here, so some resistance. We've got a little bit more resistance levels just above here, but for now, I think this is kind of the main one.
Yeah,
Ethereum also,
August is coming. August is coming. August and
yeah,
September. That's gonna
two
be
weeks.
that's gonna be bearish, no?
I don't know. I think like I've been saying all the way to September, October, so I'm hoping we stay bullish here. But who knows? I mean, we got FOMC coming up in 2 weeks. We got CPI data coming out today. We're maybe just one news headline away from tariff stuff.
And
I
we
think a
might
lot
have
of the tariff stuff
also,
comes in April or
yeah,
August.
and we might have Powell getting fired, so money printer going.
Yeah. Well, he talked about resigning, so that's kind of interesting. But let's see.
That's another saying of you're getting fired.
Yeah. But anyways, like even Ethereum's in resistance. Like we came right up against this short reload zone. You know, anytime we come into these little red boxes, always expect some kind of resistance. So I think just like on Bitcoin, we just kind of came into like these like profit taking levels, and the market's just on a little pause here for now until we kind of resolve that. So if we are to look for pullbacks and levels, you can draw your fibs, look for those 38.2s for stops, or if you really want to come in cheap, looking for those reload zones. Even against that candle body low right there, it's like right on that 88.6. That'd actually be a really good level if things were to fall back down. Um, but right now we're still in an uptrend. So I think really, if we just get a little bit of a pullback, and then we can start forming those W's again, then we'll be ready to continue on. But
It's,
overall, still very bullish.
I was going to say, those are some pretty low targets. I wonder if Andrew the Bear was coming back. 20, oh, you were showing, was that 2100 Ethereum?
2,800? No. It's like 2,700. That's like
Oh, sorry. I guess I can't see your
30.2.
chart well enough. I thought I said 21. I was like, damn.
No, that's a bit low. That's like all the way back down to this
We're going
bottom,
to drop
right?
30% from here?
I mean, that'd be, yeah. I think that'd be probably the end. Um, no, I mean, I think right now we're just pulling back, just a healthy little kind of correction after like big explosive moves. I don't really have any trades here, mostly just sitting and waiting, and waiting for things to just like kind of consolidate. Yeah. Equities looking hotter. Looks like we are breaking out to all-time highs on Nasdaq. S&P is very close behind. Dow also trying to perk back up here, as well as the Russell. So, equities are still bullish. We talked about the support level against these moving averages. So it's nice to see that the bull stepped in, and so the uptrend is still intact. So it seems like a lot of the risk market seems still pretty bullish. Um, Altcoins are looking okay as well. We had some pretty good rallies through the weekend. But as you can see, things are slowly kind of rolling over. I think people are just kind of slowly taking profits here now, which kind of makes sense as like a lot of things did pop off uh, quite well. So it doesn't hurt to take some profits. But now you can just probably start hunting the lows of the recent lows and the highs and start drawing your fib ranges, look for those reload zones, and then hunt those dips. Um,
Damn, Andrew, you sound like a real bear today.
Not bear. I mean, I'm still in all my lungs. Like,
There's like no excitement. It's like a dead room here at the moment.
oh, that's trading for you, bro. It's not meant to be all over the place. um, yeah, I mean, overall, like the market's just gonna continue. You know, I don't see any signs of having to close everything just yet. So, yeah, up and up
Nice.
away.
All
Yeah.
right.
So what's our predictions here? How long are we gonna go sideways before we resume the pump, and where does the pump get us to
Tonight,
before the next like major not the top of the cycle, but for whatever you want to call it, macro high, local high.
yeah, I mean, we'll see how the CPI inflation data comes out tonight. Obviously, if those numbers come out good, it'll probably cause the market to pump. If it comes out bad, then obviously the opposite. Um, and then after that, I'm not too sure. I mean, we're just waiting to hit some more levels again, uh, waiting for some kind of structure. So, however long it takes.
More patience. Doesn't want to give us no insider info. We know
Yeah,
you have. We know you have all the info. Got to. Why are you holding out on us?
there's something that he's not telling us. I can feel it.
It's only in the premium channel, boys.
God damn. God damn. Shots has been fired.
Hmm.
Mm. Well, as mentioned, we've got CPI data coming in today. Right now, we're looking at for the core CPI month over month for June, expected to go up. Actually, same with year over year and month over month for the non-core CPI. So I don't know what are your guys' takes on that? Predicting that the interest rate, or excuse me, the inflation going back up.
Obviously not good. I mean, obviously you want to see it coming lower. The lower the inflation, the more likelihood of the rate cut, right? So definitely don't want to go in the opposite direction.
I don't know. I don't know how much we can trust the public numbers. There's been so much different discussion how to actually measure inflation. So I don't know. I think these numbers are just gibberish. They're there to
Agreed.
say something. If the
Agreed.
wind is going left or right or north or something, I don't know. Um,
Yeah, and I think number one, they've changed. It was most recently here during the Biden administration. They completely changed how they calculate inflation to try and pad the numbers, make things look better. Hard to trust any of these numbers coming out of the government when they just change the formula to to suit their needs. I think things like trueflation are better indicators for things like that. And overall, using purely just this inflation data for determining whether or not to cut the rates, I think is again one of the issues with the current fiat system. There's a lot more that goes into our economy, and how the dollar is utilized worldwide than just inflation in the U.S. So for Powell to come out and say this is the only number that matters, and until we get to here, and he hasn't even been saying that recently. He's like, well, we don't know what's going to happen in the future. So even though the number's low, we don't want to cut because maybe it'll go back up. So I don't know. At this point, I think it's kind of come down to most of the American public has lost faith in Powell. Most of us have lost faith in the Fed in general. But if he doesn't cut in July, I think the writing's on the wall. He's either going to have to resign or he's going to be fired. And then we'll have probably Bassett in for September, which is the next opportunity for them to cut rates, unless they do some sort of emergency meeting in August, which I doubt they would do. The FOMC meeting is the 30th or the 31st of this month, and then early September is the next one. So for them to replace somebody and then call for an emergency meeting within a 4 or 5 week period, probably not realistic. Maybe they replace and then just wait till September to cut. But I guess we'll find out in a couple of weeks here. Today will be kind of a good day to see, if we do get lower numbers than expected. A lot of people are probably going to be calling for rate cuts at the end of the month. If if these numbers come in a little hotter in here, then that's just giving Powell more fuel to continue his current stance. So, but yeah, very important numbers coming out today. I'm sure we're going to see some volatility in the markets. Are these the kind of events you typically avoid trading?
Generally, yeah. I try not to have like too many things open, but all my positions are already open, so I have no choice.
Yeah.
I
So
just
if
have
you
to
got,
wait.
Andrew's
yeah,
all in.
if you're getting in before this big pump over the last 5 days or so, unless we see something catastrophic here, you're sitting probably high enough in the green that you're far enough in the black that a little bit of a dip isn't going to make much of a difference here.
Yeah.
On some short term FUD around economic rates, but yeah, it's probably the biggest story for today. Is to keep an eye on is the CPI numbers coming out here. Outside of that, probably the biggest talked about stuff right now. Continuing to see the ETH ETF absolutely explode. So their highest monthly inflow ever, even surpassing June's record. You can see numbers here just continue to absolutely pump. A lot of stuff leading into this. Obviously, more and more institutions coming on board. And I think the credit is rightly being given to the Genius Act and the stablecoin bills coming through. We talked about this on Friday last week. Right now, as this stablecoin regulations continue to be clarified, the Genius Act is supposed to be voted on and fully passed into law later this week. If that happens, if and when that happens, we're very likely going to see trillions of dollars coming into this industry via stablecoins. And where is most of that money going to be? Where are most of those stablecoins going to be sitting? Well, right now, Ethereum seems to be the clear winner. It's got the longest track record. It's got the most liquidity there. It's got the most arguably stable tech, maybe not the best tech, but it's been around the longest, has the most devs available, maybe the most, yeah, I guess stable is probably the best word. So most trusted. So when you have people like JP Morgan, Amazon, Walmart, Facebook, et cetera, creating these stable coins with billions and billions of dollars on them, that's what they're looking for more than anything. They don't care about the newest, latest, greatest tech. They don't care about if the speculation on your token is better than Ethereum. They want something that they know is going to be reliable and that they can trust to work when they need it to work. So as of now, it's looking like Ethereum is going to stand to benefit from the majority of those stable coins being transaction volume. So while that we see trillions of dollars come in, don't confuse that with that's not trillions of dollars into Ethereum's market cap. That's trillions of dollars and overall these will be new stable tokens that are coming online, but that transaction volume is still going to have a massive effect on Ethereum's price as we see the transaction volumes, the fees generated, et cetera, et cetera. And so I think a lot of these inflows are the smart money, the institutions behind the scenes buying up Ethereum as they see kind of the writing on the wall with the Stablecoin Act.
No, I agree, and good to remember that there's only sorry about my voice. 6 to 7 million dollars of outflows every day. So that's like $6 to 7 million that the supply is getting expanded, if I remember right. So having like 200, 300, 200, and $250 days is like That's a lot. That's 20 to 30 times more than the outflows at the moment. Or the
Yeah,
issuance. Sorry, the right word is the issuance.
right. Yeah, and I think Ethereum is just going to continue to coil up here. It's been we got a little bump up to back around 3,000 and going sideways here, but I think institutions are still buying, still trying to get their hands on more of this before they send it. But probably see some action towards the end of this week around that bill getting passed.
No, absolutely.
What else do we got? What else is in the news? Pump Fund finally launched their token here.
Hmm.
Pump and Bonk sucking all the liquidity out of the alts recently. Obviously, this was when Bitcoin also was retracing from 23,000 down to like what was it, 16 or high 15s, whatever it did. So a lot of the alts followed. But what liquidity and what upside action we did see in the alts, mostly sucked up by Pump and Bonk. I did not participate in the pre-sale. I didn't try trading it at launch. I don't know what were your guys' take on this launch, and how do you think it went?
I usually just don't touch first day launches. I always wait for the market to kind of do the initial pump, then the sell off, and then I'll hunt the bottoms there. So I just been just chilling, watching, letting people just do their thing with it. I'll probably give it a month or two before I really touch it. I'm in
Yeah,
bonk though, so I'm happy
yeah. I
with
mean,
bonk.
I think it was pretty good launch overall. It could have dumped like crazy, but I think what was very good strategy from basically Pump is that they did not list on Binance. So we've seen more and more tokens, and especially big projects, like they don't want to go to Binance, and there's a clear reason for that. Is because of the listing fee. Giving 5% of the supply liquid is absolutely nuts, and this is basically what usually Binance wants. So if they raised what $1 billion, so 5% out of that, that's a very pretty hefty fee, and 5% supply of that, like it's a lot.
Oh, for sure. Do we know what was the initial, um, what was that ICO at, or what were they selling for in the
So
pre-market?
I think it was the $4 billion, if I remember right.
It
So
was
they were
at
30 to 25% up.
Okay, so not terrible. Holding fairly steady. I'm sure they got a lot of market making going on in the background. The liquidity seems a little low for 1.2 billion or 1.16 billion dollar market cap, only 25 million in liquidity.
Hmm.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
I think they're just trying to control the flow at this moment, and obviously there's a lot of liquidity in exchanges and so forth. But I see them doing the same strategy as hype. Like they're gonna be very slow. I think we're gonna be staying at between 4 and 5 for a while, and then eventually go to 10 to 12. I do see them coming after hype. I do see them going over 15 to 20 billion dollars. Obviously, not the financial advice, but like I still think this is a good buy. You can quote me after 1 month and then laugh at me, but I think their revenues are pretty good and they have good initiatives that they're trying to get, especially with their newest acquisitions.
So it sounds like from the rumors that I've heard, they're going for obviously they're going to try and launch their own network, their own L1, and then try and have some sort of like perp dex model as well, kind of as you mentioned for competing with Hyperliquid. Big shift from where they made most of their money in obviously minting meme coins. They've lost a ton of market share to Bonk recently. Does any of that have you concerned about the overall like longevity, of that for them to be able to continue to produce revenue? I think last year, pretty much everyone can agree was a freak year for them. Like they made what 700 or 800 million dollars last year. It was also, a complete anomaly with them being the first movers, pretty much the only game in town. Meme coins going absolutely ballistic. How do they continue to generate revenue when memes are pretty much dead? And now that they have major competition in the meme game.
Yeah, I think the main thing here, remember, they have raised now more than $1 billion, and then they have a treasury of $700 billion. So that's 1.5 billion already there. If you look at the top 100 coins, how many of them are doing any revenue? Like approximately maybe 20-30%, and rest are just like tradable. I think it doesn't matter if Pump does revenue or not. I think despite they would do no revenue at all, they would still be quite a top coin. Obviously, it depends on the founders if they're not going to just leave the project and go away. I don't think that's going to be the case. I think they have initiatives. I think behind the scenes they have good people advising them. So I don't know. Despite BONK is doing pretty good, uh, they have way more fees than Pump at the moment. But I don't know. I'm positive about fun Pump. I
Bigger question.
obviously like my personal opinion about like Pump.fun is not good. I don't like that. It's ultra mega gambling. It's not good for the liquidity. So many people lost money on there, but hey.
Next question is what happens to Solana when both Pump and Bonk launch their own L1s? I
good,
mean, because
good.
right now, I can't remember what exactly the numbers are, but the mass majority of transaction volume on Solana comes from memes, primarily from well, what was Pump.fun and now split between Pump and Bonk. So if Pump and Bonk both launched their own L1s, are they able to move? Because memes started on Ethereum, and that's where some of the OG memes are, but now memes are 99% on Solana because Ethereum was too slow, too expensive, etc. um, will the memes pivot to the Pump L1 to the Bonk L1? I think it's certainly reasonable for them to do that. But I don't know. I think Solana's maybe in some trouble here if they can't figure out something to offer to the world other than other than memes, because that's their real claim to fame right now. Where they've got a lot going on, trying to get more builders to come on and build new stuff, but still 90% of stuff on Solana, 90% of the transaction volume on Solana is memes. If Pump
Yeah,
and
but
Bot
you have to
feel that,
remember you have Jupiter there, you have other dexes, you have all these like liquidity providers. Follow the money. If money is on Solana, it's not gonna go anywhere. They have the distribution also on the wallets. So if you have MetaMask, Phantom Wallet, or some others, it's very
Mhm.
easy to transact, and usually that's the case. Pump and both Bonk, they need to build quite a lot to get the same transaction, and obviously Solana has big backers behind them. So
Mhm.
I don't know. I don't think it's gonna be a problem. But I do see it as like, all right, what's gonna happen next? What's the next narrative that Solana is gonna take?
Further, yeah, further fragmentation of this industry, just what we needed.
Oh yeah, more L1s.
Love it, love it. What else? Yeah, so Pump Fun Launch looking like it's doing at least well for the first. Where are we at here? Second day number two. How many hours in are we? Roughly what? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. Yeah, so just still under 24 hours, but not doing terrible. Not straight down.
No, I think that was a good launch, man. Like overall, I'm pretty positive. 30% up on your investment, it's not bad.
We already kind of mentioned the story a little bit here. Apparently, Jerome Powell considering resignation. I think that's what we'll get. Most of these guys aren't going to get fired. They'd rather resign than get fired. So, see what happens towards the end of this month. Might be some fireworks in August.
Yeah, so what I understood, like this is my understanding of the situation. So Jeremy Powell is getting accused of spending $1 billion on a Fed building. If if I'm right, like that's gonna be the case why they fire him. Or he's
Jerome,
yeah. So Jerome, their Fed building, they spent $1 billion or $1.5 billion on building it, and it's like a top-notch facilities with everything. And there's a lot of talk now that's going to be the reason why they fire him. Or
Very silly. Very
that's
silly.
good excuse, good scapegoat excuse there, I guess. Well,
yeah,
I mean, at this point, yeah, need to get rid of the guy. Need to get rid of the Fed in general, but that's a lot less likely to happen. I think getting rid of Jerome Powell is much more doable.
yeah.
Yeah.
Um, We mentioned tariffs earlier. A lot of the tariff talks are coming due very soon, but this is a breaking story that could have some very big impacts on capital markets of all types around the world. Trump kind of giving an ultimatum to countries to stop trading with Russia. Obviously, there's been sanctions in place from the U.S. for I don't know how long now, since the beginning of the war, I believe. Um, but now Trump trying to leverage the tariffs against other countries to get them to stop trading with Russia. Obviously, trying to push Putin back to the table there. Kind of seemingly a bit of a 180 from Trump. I think a month or so ago, Trump and Putin looked like they were on decent terms. It was more Ukraine that was the issue with the peace talks there, not coming to the table, not being able to get things done. And now seemingly a 180. Now Trump sending more weapons to the Ukraine. Trump, trying to push other, countries to not to trade with Russia. As far as I've understood to this point, maybe it's more in the details of how the peace talks work out. But it seemed that Putin was willing to talk. Maybe just the terms were not kosher for Trump. But this definitely could have some serious impacts. Major countries that would be affected trading with Russia, probably obviously China, India. Outside of that, I don't know any other major nations that that aren't already either sanctioning or working with the U.S. Against Russia there. I mean, Iran obviously, but I don't think Iran is too worried about what the U.S. thinks at this point.
Yeah, I don't know. I watched yesterday Eric Weinstein's interview, and it was quite doom and gloom. It
He's never
seems like
usually
we're going
he's never
into
usually
World War
positive
Three.
though.
Yeah,
But hopefully, this can bring about peace talks and getting into this war. It's long overdue. This is dragged on for far too long. It's obviously at this point just corrupt politicians on both sides keeping this going for whatever reasons that they deem suitable. But
no, I agree.
but yeah, hopefully this can help get this wrapped up. Outside of that, what else? Yes, a few more Bitcoin adoption stories. BlackRock's Bitcoin ETFs, the company's most profitable ETF in history now. Federal Reserve and U.S. regulators issue statements. Banks are allowed to custody Bitcoin and crypto. I thought this was already done, but maybe there's 9 million freaking regulatory organizations in the U.S. So this is maybe a different one or a different subsector of one of those branches giving another thumbs up. But end of the day, positive news for retail Bitcoin there as well. Kazakhstan, we covered this a little bit ago, that they're looking at opening up a Bitcoin strategic reserve. And now looking at even selling their gold reserves to flip it into Bitcoin. So hopefully they're not top lasting here, but we'll see.
Oh, this is pretty funny. We need
Yeah.
more leverage.
More leverage. Yeah, that's about all I had for today. I know you guys got some calls to hop on here soon, but anything else you wanted to cover or mention before we hop off here?
None on my end.
Um, I think we're good. I think overall market has been pretty exciting for the past 2 weeks, but we're slowing down. Obviously, don't go leverage. DCA. We keep saying the same thing in the channel, but it's so easy. Just DCA and hold for a couple of years, and you see the results.
That's the best strategy long term. Absolutely. That's something I've been thinking a lot about here. Is as we approach wherever the top is, make sure you're taking profits. You might miss out on an extra 30%, an extra 50%, even an extra, whatever, 2x. But where you're going to make the real money, where you're going to make those 10, 15, 20x is taking profits now and reinvesting them a year and a half from now, whenever that we have that, bear market bottoms. You're going to be able to buy altcoins at 80, 90% down from their all-time highs. I mean, just look back at early, like 2023 when Bitcoin was coming up out of the 15K range.
Yeah,
I mean, look at where the alts were. Link was at like $4. AVAX was at like, I don't even remember. Solana at one point was down at like $7 or $10. Like, so like, during the bear market, you're going to have ridiculous buying opportunities for these alts where you won't even care this time in the cycle what the prices are doing. You'll already be up 20x, and and just don't have to worry about things. So that's something kind of, always zoom out, think longer term. Don't stress too much over missing out on a little bit of the some of the tops here and there. Not that I'm saying I think we're getting close. I still think we're going to see 200 plus Bitcoin. So I'm not taking cash out at this moment. But end of the day, if you got in now, you make a 2x on Bitcoin. If you got in when it was at 15K, you're making 12x on Bitcoin this cycle. So that's kind of the the long term thing. You talk to anybody, they'll say, hey, millionaires are made during the bear market. So keep that in mind. Preservation of capital is paramount right now. Get what you can out of into this bull run, and then sit on your hands till the bear market. That's when you really want to have that capital to aid.
Agree.
Let's always take profits.
All right, guys. Please like, subscribe, and see you on Friday.